Morning, everybody, and welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. All right, Black Desert Online is down for server maintenance, and I felt like this gave me a perfect opportunity to revisit a game that I loved so much, played since launch, and this game, like, for me, was the perfect time to try a new MMO when I left World of Warcraft, and it was just impeccable timing, and that was Rift. Rift is similar to World of Warcraft's vanilla World of Warcraft in the essence that we have skill trees. So, skill trees was similar to World of Warcraft. You would pick one of whatever, ideally in World of Warcraft. In Rift, we had something slightly different. We had souls. And every class, so there are 5 primary classes in Rift. The original 4 was Warrior, Mage, Rogue, and Cleric. And then they introduced Primalist later on. Now, the nice thing about all the classes in the game was all the classes could play different roles. Meaning, at the one time, Mage could play Healer, DPS, support, and each class could play 3. Well, they upped the ante and made every class capable of playing every role. So all of a sudden, the mage then could tank, have a tank role. Then also you had warrior, who never initially had a heal role, a heal soul, was able to now heal, and this made for very dynamic builds, both PvE and PvP. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful game and concept. The problem with Rift in that conception, though, was the devs never managed the roles accordingly, as far as how much, for example, the DPS. If I was doing an AoE DPS role on a mage, could the rogue keep up, or could the warrior keep up, or could the cleric keep up? You know, with a similar DPS in tier sets. This is progression. It's a linear design, so meaning there is BIS in this game. Why? Because you go through tier progression. So there is a best in slot to be associated. But the problem of it, like I said, the problem was in Rift was the devs never managed to keep the roles, you know, with similar DPS output in those roles. That's where the game struggled so much. And it was heartbreaking because it just kept getting worse as it progressed. They never, you know, addressed the issues. The main issue, what players wanted to see. And that was balancing between the roles. The idea was sound. It was beautiful. Like right now I'm on my healer. This is my PvP healer, I believe. But ideally what you could do, I could literally, like, redo my souls. And each soul, there was, I think, 11 now for the mage. But I have 10 souls unlocked. So, like Pyromancer, offensive soul. It pretty much tells you. Okay, Archon, this is a support soul. Okay, no, it says offensive, but it's supposed to be support. Archon's usually a support associated. So, typically. Warlock, offensive soul. Elementalist, offensive soul. Harbinger. Harbinger is an offensive soul. It's a melee mage. And then you have, and it says AE, so you'll see AE damage. Okay. And it kind of gives you the breakdown. And then Necromancer, pet class. Elementalist, pet class too. Then we have Stormcaller. And then Arbiter. Arbiter's defense, that's the tank. The tank class. So, and then Chloromancer's healer. Healing soul. And then you could respec your souls. So soul reset. And then I could respec. Diminishing returns was associated with the points allocated into your trees, as well as gear parameters. Nothing you could do about gear since it's linear. But specking, you had a diminishing value to be associated. And it was a really good game. And it can be. It still is. It's a little dated. But, you know, I mean, they always have events. They always got things going. It's pretty basic. Like right here, I believe this is an event going on.
Great sun, an ascendant.
Summer Fest. So they have a summer fest. A lot of mounts. A lot of things that you can do.
Journey well.
And then, you know, you can... It's a lot of different things. PvP, quest lines, and things like that. The world of Talara. Now, the whole world is called Talara. It's pretty vast. But once again, we have the problem still associated with level type games, meaning majority of these zones are no longer in use once you out-level them. And it makes it sad. And then here's an event going on. Events do show up on the map. Okay. I'm in the Tempest Isle. PvP is pretty cool. Now, in PvP, these are kind of like battlegrounds, but they're actually called warfronts. And once again, the problem with warfronts, let's talk about it. It's gauged by levels. But the problem of it is once you get to a certain level, you'll be under-geared, and you're just going to get hammered. Until you get, you know, your best in slot for your PvP gear. So I'm going to just queue up. I will play healer role. I'll see what I can do. I'll probably get my ass beat. It's been a while. It's actually been a long time. And I don't know what the pop is like currently in this game. Now you can take particulums for fast travel. This is what they call a particulum. And they're all spread out throughout the world.
Hello.
So once I take a particulum, I can also... These are the main area of Talara. That's where I'm at now. Then there's Mathos and the Ember Isles. That's also associated. This is the Accor, which is in Prime. And then there's the Plane of Water and the Celestial Lands. Now, the Celestial Lands are the newer area in which I was doing when I came back, because I bought the expansion because I wanted to try it out, check it out. And it's okay for what it's worth. But I think there was, as far as lore, it started getting a little different because the dragons hold the magic of Talara, right? So for every element, there's an associated dragon. Like Death is an associated dragon called Regulos, in which took human form. And then there's Crucia, forget a couple of the dragons' names, but they're all associated. Nature, there's all different associations with the dragons. And even though you may defeat one of the dragons, like Crucia has come back, I think, 2 or 3 times. So in essence, you never truly get rid of the dragons because they're the elements of what, you know, pertains to the magic of this realm. So, and then of course we got our mounts. I have a slew of mounts. This was one of my favorite mounts in the game. And then if I get like hit / played, it'll kind of give you let you know. I have logged 46 days, 11 hours, 51 minutes, and 8 seconds. Now that doesn't seem like a lot, but 46 days in a game is crazy. Why? It's 24 hours, right? That's a lot. And I used to like level up, mass level, and then just go at it. So 46 times 24, for example. That's 1,104 hours plus 11 hours. Yeah, 1,115 hours logged in this game. On this tune alone. On this tune alone. And I have 5 max tunes. Well, not maxed, but at the time now. Since I tried, like I said, I did try to come back. And then there's the quest logs. Same kind of concept. Then you can pick your roles. But when you pick your role, you can also pick your soul. So if I wanted to switch out a soul, very easy. I would just go ahead, go to roles, and literally pick pick my role. And just switch it. That's pretty much the gist of it. Like I could go with the DPS, activate it, and now I'm in DPS mode. And you'll see my my toolbar change based on my role. And then you can macro too, which is really cool. How long has Rift been out? Oh my god. Rift, I want to say it's been, what, 10 years or something? My kids were at least 10, about 10 years minimal, I want to say. Let me check. We'll take a look at that really quick. Rift's been out for a long time. We'll wiki it. All right. Publish date was back in August 11. How many people were playing it? It used to have a ton of people. August 11, it says August 2011. So 7 years. It was a long time ago. And servers will be coming down in 30 minutes for an update. What? This is so bullshit. Everybody updates on Wednesdays. I thought it was Thursdays. It's a pretty cool game in the essence that it plays exactly like World of Warcraft. Different setting, different lore. When the server goes down, I'll talk about some of the other, like I said, other issues surrounding it. And then, of course, I have a water mount somewhere. There's my crab. You can swim underwater and everything in this game. There are no flying mounts like there is in World of Warcraft. But there is sea mounts. No. I'm not taking that out. Not a 68. Not at a 68, I'm not. I don't even have a food buff up. You can see the shadowing. The graphics were pretty cool at the time. You needed a high-end system, but now it's not so bad. There's a rift. If you look in the distance, that's a death rift. And death rifts will spawn different things. Die. Yeah, there's a little post in a rift. Okay. You can soul walk or respawn. Soul walk's not too bad. And then, where's my add-ons? My add-ons are probably outdated. Why don't you soul walk, you come here. Okay, so, let me see something. Where in the heck is my add-ons? See, I'd have to go back to the game. Hold on. And then what ends up happening, they had, like, buy to play. So, a lot of problems also were... like equipment. Now, most of the time you come in here, they kind of converged everything. So when you get your marks, instead of going to a selected area to get your tier progression gear, they conformed everything into this little store, which you still need your marks. So you go to the armor, you go to max, which is 70 at the moment. And this was the deal, right? So tier gear, as you guys can see, cost fragments, right? Celestial remnants. Up until this, though, you can purchase lower tier gear. Void's pretty sucky, though. And then you have even raid gear associated. So PvE and PvP. So there's LFR, for example. So for the first person coming into the game, once they hit 70, it's like, hey, you know what? I can just buy my LFR gear, right? Which isn't best in slot. You still have to earn best in slot. But you can buy your LFR gear. And that's kind of a buy to win approach to the game. So, but even though you still have to earn your raid gear, it's like, you know, it kind of takes the fun out of like player. Now, you don't have to buy anything. Now, this is your top end gear right here, your raid gear, which is taking Legion marks. I believe that's now the top end gear. It says tier 2. This is PvP. Favor associated is PvP gear. But this is now the new top end gear. And if you can see, you know, the stats are huge versus like my intellect, my wisdom, my endurance, and my hit. Hit's very important in this game because you need X amount of hit to do content. If you don't have the hit number, you're not doing it. You're not going to do it. It's just the way it is. And as you guys can see down here, I have like my marks. Like here's my PvP, some of my PvP marks is challengers. There's my favor. I got 30,000 banked up in my favor currently. Void, I'm not using void stones recently. Fragments of madness, haven't used that in a while. Celestial remnants, that's the one prior to getting this. So if I wanted to get into my base gear, I would go with remnant gear first, which is right. That's ether shards. That's the next tier up right here. Those are tower fragments. I think I got some tower fragments actually. Right here. Tower fragments, yep. So I have 1,002 and you need 13,000 for one piece. Now also, you can do, you get marks for doing it. So see, if I do a random, I'll get marks. I'll get celestial right here for doing this random. I can get fragments of darkness, and none of these matter. Like, none of those are worth a shit. Random prophecy. Now, it'll tell you, see, it's locked. You are below the level range for this. Because I don't have enough. I can do random. So if I wanted to, I could just go in here. Click off healer for a minute or whatever. And then hit join. Now, I could go tank, but I have to switch out my tank gear. And then you can go to specific dungeons, and then it breaks it down for you. You need to be 70 to do any of these. Where just some of the easy modes, the normal modes, is between 67 to 70. But if you're going to do hard mode, expert mode, you need to be 70. And ideally, you want a certain amount of hit. Now, they did say they were introducing raid queues, which I don't know if they ever did. I should be able to take this dude out. I write all my macros. And then see, then the quest line comes up. Alright, all my own macros for this game. Never copied anybody's. Then I can get like AoE builds and things like that. Do quests, same thing as most MMOs. Oh, bastard. Yeah, I'm not gonna get a kill. And that's, like I said, there's a rift. Then there's instant adventures, which I want to say is... What is the instant adventure button? Alright, hold on. If you come down here... Instant adventures. There it is, little dot. And you can join instant adventures for fast leveling, which made it really nice. Like, I don't like the area in which they were doing it. So I can like switch my role now if I wanted to. Oh, that's why. And then just go to like healer, for example, if they're needing heals. Fire Rift. And as you can see, all my abilities are just basically healing. I think if I go to 2, I think I have a more, yeah. Stage 4. Now you can see I'm just keeping everybody alive. And their roles are right here. They're all DPS except me. I'm the healer. warrior ideally would like to have a tank. Then it'll take you to the next associated place. People pop in and out. It's just an easier way to grind. It's just a form of grinding as the instant adventures. Like a mofo. I think I gotta... What are we trying to do? Yeah. Nothing bad's gonna happen here. 15 minutes. You can make grind builds, whatever you want, really. A lot of things. Yo, Phil, what's up? Yeah, it's called Rift. Yeah, it's like World of Warcraft, but with better graphics, exactly. And weirder shit. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. The reason I came to this game, I got tired of long raids, and Rift really allowed me to still raid with half the time and half the people. So instead of 40 people, I would raid with 20 on this game. And instead of 6 hours, I could do a full HK run in 3 at the time. Mark, what's up? So that was one of the best things when I played Rift. Like when I was doing raids and shit. And on my warrior, I still have my death mount. After this, I'll leave group. And actually, I can probably leave group now and it'll take me out. Nice thing about this, actually. So I'll log out of this. When I did River of Souls, there's an achievement. It's a rare achievement. You have to have no deaths and something else, and you can get it's a raid, and you can get okay. I'm gonna force log him before this goes down. This was my main forever. I was a tank primarily in my first guild. But then I did heals and whatever else. I have to wait a minute. Hold on. Still logging out. It's going to go down 10 minutes, but I'll show you guys my mount. Like, when I got this mount, I was just pumped because not everybody had it. So, as you can see, warriors can heal. They can play support, all sorts of shit. Warrior went through a lot of changes in this game. And here is my beautiful, beautiful ghost mount. You can only get this from River of Souls with, like, it's almost like crazy achievement. It has to be no death, has to be something else. There's like 3 requirements to get this mount. Yeah, that's right. This one's a rare one. This one's a rare one. This is a raid-only mount. River of Souls wasn't as bad as HK. HK was back crazy. Then we were doing all the other ones that were coming out with Mathos and Crucia and shit, and then that's kind of where, like, I fell off. Here's a hard memory. Forget RuneScape. RuneScape, right. RuneScape's been out forever. A lot of people start off with RuneScape. Still a really good beginner MMO. Now, this game is free to play. So, like, that's one aspect to it, unless you do Rift Prime. Rift Prime is old school Rift. It's reverting back before everything got crazy, and that's a pay version of Rift, which is, I don't know, man. And as you guys can see, my bar on this is very low because I'm in tank mode. So tanks, I didn't need a lot of abilities barred up because, honestly, see, I have to respec everything. Boy, they really did change a bunch of shit. Give me a free respec, though. So, but, like, this is a tank mode. Paladin, I go with the Warlord, and then I did Void Knight. In 10 minutes. And I mean, it was pretty cool. Like, I could always change my soul, too. So if I wanted to change it out, you could, you know, then, like, there's the Liberator. So I could make it like a Paladin type effect. So I could go Paladin, stay with the Warlord, and then I could, instead of Void Knight here, which I did, I could go with the Liberator. So then I could make like a full Paladin. Like a full pally. And I think I could actually have gone, Riftblade was okay at the time. At one time, Reaver was a tank soul. But then they switched to DPS. And I think I only got, what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10. I don't think I have the new one. I think they introduced a new one. I have 10 souls for all the classes. But I think they introduced a new one. Except Primalist. Primalist, I want to say 6 souls associated. I want to say 6 souls associated as of now. I'm not sure. But then you could just build it up. You know, increase your block. Same thing. It was just like World of Warcraft, except I could switch out and build up accordingly. And then this is where you see, like, the more points you get into speccing, you know, you're spending more points. So you can pick 3 subclasses. Yeah, you can pick 3 subclasses and then convert them together to make your build. Right. They're called souls. And then you get to save it. And then you can switch out your soul accordingly. So if I wanted to switch from main tank to DP void tank, which I had a void, I could just change the role. And there you have it. Now I'm a different type of tank. Yo, Zoss, learn from this. Complexity is a good thing. Yeah, but balance is the issue in this game, Phil. Where this game started struggling was keeping the roles in competitive aspect. So if I was a DPS, single target DPS on a warrior, my warrior might not be able to keep up with a mage. So warriors were frowned on still, even though they could do it. And believe it or not, the top tank in this game before I left was not a warrior, was not a cleric, it was either a rogue or a mage. A rogue or a mage tank was what people were running when I left. Not warriors. Warrior healers were better than as single targets than any other healer at one time. So it was all back asswards as far as like trying to stay, you know, leveled. That was the complaint. Everybody loved the diversity, but they kept saying, put the friggin' abilities closer, you know, margin. Can you do that? That's the only thing that was asked. It was the only thing that Tryon had to do. And they kept like pushing it off and putting it in the background. Nobody complained about the souls. Nobody complained about the content. Nobody complained at all in this game except one thing. Only one thing. Balance the roles of the classes. Balance them between the classes. That's all. Everybody would have, because someone's like, I don't want to have to turn down a warrior tank in a raid. Why should you? Well, the problem of it wasn't mitigating. It didn't have a AoE taunt or an AoE effect to hold taunt. I mean, it meant like the mage did. And that was the problem. Class-based stuff is always a pain to balance. So why not get rid of classes and do an open class deal like Sandbox? Right, that's why I like Sandbox. But there's not a lot of Sandbox games out there. And the problem of it is you can do it. All you have to do is just kind of scale it. You know, oh, it's underperforming. Let's bump up these abilities and get it to on par. It's not that hard. The question of it is, what are you going to do it? You have to do it. You have to. And this game was very accomplishable. Now, since I did mention that, so that was the issue. And I'm glad I mentioned it. So, we're going to be looking at the general discussion. So, the problem of it was balance, right? In this game, balance was a huge problem. And it was asked for years, for fucking years. Balance the fucking classes. Balance the fuck. It's not the problem that a warrior can heal. We love that. We like a mage that fact that the mage can tank. We like that. Here is our issue. Balance. Balance. Fucking balance. That's all I was asked. Not the content. Whatever. So, let me see. So, somebody had posted on July 12th, what's going to be reasonable DPS now? Question mark. The balance has started. The balancing has started. Holy shit. Finally. It's been out since 2011 and they're finally addressing it. I already see things coming back in line. First, we had the underlining stacking buff changes. This brought top primalists down from about 1.7 mil, 1.8 mil to 1.1 to 1.4, depending on tier progression gear, or what tier gear you were in. Mage dropped a little, about 1 mil to 1.2. Now look at that. 1.1 to 1.4. That's still 200,000 difference, right? It's starting to change. It's starting. But that was huge. Now, they didn't mention like single target. I imagine this is basically referred to single target, not AoEs. The update 4.5. The 4.5 update didn't hit those callings too hard, but rogues and warriors have seen a lot of changes. I don't know too much about the clerics. Nightblades, which are rogue single targets, coming up to 900k to 1.2. So that's still under what we're looking at in the 1 to 1.4. But 1.2 is at least, 200,000 under. And that was the issue. That was the issue with this freaking game. It was. It was the main problem with Rift. Rift played great. Unfortunately, though, once you got out of a zone, you were done with the zone. Right? So you were like, oh shit, the zone, I never go back to the zone. That's the problem World of Warcraft has. That's why people are starting to leave World of Warcraft. All this area that they have, and no one can do shit with it. Right? That's one thing that ZOS did smart. ZOS was like, let's get rid of the level shit in the zones. Brilliant. Brilliant. Why? Because linear games are out. They're out. People want to be able to do things in zones. That's one thing Rift did have over World of Warcraft was the instant adventures. So the instant adventures is a scaling system to your experience. So when you do an instant adventure, you're not penalized for going in a lower zone, which was nice. You could experience, like, you know, a fast way of leveling, but you really weren't exploring or appreciating the area for when you first were in it in comparison. But it was cool that you could go back to it and do instant adventures and have that nostalgic feel to it. So it's kind of cool. They also have like different raid ones too. So Intrepid is the raids that you used to be able to do. They took but made it easier. So it was the original raids, like, you know, Hammer, HK, Hammer Neil, and there was another one I wanted to say, Blight. So, and of course, the raids in this game were like any other raids. It's right here. And then you always convert your groups to raids, 20-man raids. There was 10-man raids too at one time. Now, see, they did have a looking for raid, but it never did go through. I wish they would have implemented this, like made like different modes for it. This would have been huge. This would have been massive had they done this. This is a 10-man config right here. These are 10-man configuration for raids. And they said that they had it up one time and then they, you know, went down. Arcade did it, and slightly. If I remember right, Tryon Worlds runs Rift. Right, Tryon does, yeah. Tryon was like EA of MMOs back when I played Arcade. Yeah, Tryon is a great company. Tryon treated me really well. Tryon has always been really nice to me as a player. They've been nothing but the best. They like, sometimes they get a hold of me and be like, "Hey, Mystic, we changed a few things. We'd like you to come and check it out." And I'm like, "Hey, cool, yeah, okay." And or we're working on this, you know. Hey, we're going to throw you, you know, an invite to it if you want to check it out. And they were really nice and a little open about it. And the company really treated me really nice. So I really enjoyed, you know, like when Tryon would throw me like little perks here and there to check something out. It was kind of cool. They really treated me good. They knew how to treat their players. You know, specific players they really treated really well based on whatever. Because, you know, it's like, it's free advertisement. Hey, man, have you guys checked out this? Yeah, no. Okay, cool. But this one, I don't know how many. I have 47 days on the mage, 36 on this. 36 days. Yeah, I would just be like once you leveled up, all it was about was the raids. Log in, get your raids done. Log out, get them done. Get them done. In the greed sense, maybe they change. Well, the problem of it is with Tryon. Tryon was always trying to. They pumped out quite a bit of free games. Now this is going down. I guess this is a perfect opportunity to kind of open up the browser for you guys. And I need to update that for my add-ons. My add-ons are no longer up there. Okay, so we'll go to Glyph. Now, this is their launcher. It's a pretty basic launcher for the most part. Okay. Right. So, we have Rift. We have Rift Prime, which is a reversion of the original Rift. All right, but it's pay. Questionable. If you're paying, though, you can get access to both. If you got this, you automatically got that. Defiance, right? Really cool. All of their games, I believe, are there's Defiance Play Free. So you have the original Defiance, then the Play Free. We have Arcade, which you were talking about. There's Arcade. Really badass. And you can download all of this and like literally like go from, you know, from this. We have Trove. basically like a Roblox MMO. This is also on PS4, I believe. And then Atlas. Then they also had another a game too that I think they got rid of. I wanted to say there was another game I wanted to say that was on here one time. Old and new Defiance. Yep, it's what they did with Rift as well. Yep. I believe didn't they were talking about cross-platforming Defiance for Xbox? Rift was great. I mean, it was a good game. It looked a lot better than World of Warcraft ever did. Ever. Badass yes, balance, I'd say no. Right? That's the problem. It's like if you come out with class-based games, the only fucking job you better be on are two main things. Number one, balance. You chose a class-based game. You chose it. So the only thing you need to do is literally keep closing the gaps. Why do most players walk away from MMOs? They don't want to regrind a new class. When their class gets put in a shit toilet and they're not being used at in-game, people will walk away. Right? They get sick of it. Then all of a sudden you're bringing it back up. Too little, too late. Those players are gone. Now you just pissed off the players you already have in there. Okay, now they're pissed off. They're leaving. It's like it's a trickling effect. Class-based games are always a good thing to attract players, but it always kills the MMO. It always kills the MMO unless they do what? Try to keep the balance. If you better keep the balance, you better be marginal. You better be only off by like X amount of DPS between every fucking class. Because if you're not, you're going to lose customers. Because certain customers don't have the time to regrind a new class. And they don't want to. ArcH had a problem. A good few I didn't like. One was hitting 50. You had to make obsidian everything. And the fastest leveling system for ArcH was to go to the ocean and dig for some. Ooh. Yeah. Yep. Definitely not fun for me. But you always have a grind in every MMO. And I think that makes it worse. That's why I quit World of Warcraft. You get legendary. You do your raids. And you get your legendary gear, and an expansion drops, and the first screen you pick up is better than your legendary gear you work so hard to obtain. And it pissed me off. I got tired of it. And that's one thing I think ZOS does well. ZOS took a look at that and it's like, players don't want to refarm new gear. They want new gear to obtain and hold on to what they've earned. That was a smart play. Oh, getting rid of level restrictions. ZOS has learned from its predecessors, right? It has. But the one thing that their predecessors done better than ZOS has done is what? Counterplay. It's the only thing. It's the only fucking thing. Fix the technical issues and work on counter. That's, like I said, if they do that for PvP, probably be the best MMO ever. Ever. But you can't ignore it. You can't put this shit on the back burner. ArcH versus ESO crafting. I got to say ArcH was better in a very slight way. Got you. Yeah, I'll tell you what. The problem with Rift, crafting was good enough to get you into beginner stuff. It was good enough. They had a lot of aspects of the crafting in Rift, but it wasn't worth it. Once again, ZOS did really good making what? Crafted gear viable, endgame viable. That's what attracted me to Elder Scrolls. One, Siege. Number one thing. You have Matt Fear, or Fire, however you want to pronounce it, who is executive director, Legend, Dark Age of Camelot. It's like, hello, Siege Engine. Yeah, you got Matt, I'm in. And it was like crafting. Endgame worthy crafting. Slick. You know what I'm saying? All these things. But then you had Rift and World of Warcraft. It's like, what the fuck's the point of crafting other than getting bags? It's like, holy crap. This is junk. This is shit. You know? It was shit. And that's why I said, like, I played 2 years World of Warcraft. Played Rift longer. I played Rift a lot longer than World of Warcraft. Then I played City of Heroes. Loved it. City of Villains. City of Heroes, City of Villains. I loved that game. It was really sad when it left. And they shut it down. And shut it down. It really tore me apart. It was because I loved those games. PvP sucked in it. Crafting sucked. But, you know, honestly, like, Tryon isn't a bad company. It's not. Rift is not a bad game. It's beautiful. The problems that Rift has. 1, outdated zones. Levels, linear is an outdated system in MMOs. You don't want to stay linear. Players want to be able to go back to something and it still will have some viability to it. Actually, you could make ships from skiffs to galleons and do siege battles in Arc Age. Problem is that that siege didn't happen because no one built walled off towns. I am not surprised. I am not surprised by that statement. It's what's going to end up happening to Cyrodiil sooner or later. If they don't fucking get it under control, nobody will be sieging. It's like, just get that under control, man. Make sieging good, and get rid of the fucking trash, fucking crap bullshit. That's one thing. I love games for its complexity. That's why I jumped in Black Desert, because they had these node wars and these siege battles. And I don't know how popular they are yet because I'm still experiencing the game. But I was like, I really want to get into, like, you know, group play. Large group play. It's like raiding, and I hate to say it, in Elder Scrolls is toxic. I mean, I'm in there for gear. I don't give a shit. If we do vet, cool. If we don't, I don't give a fuck. I want my gear. That's all I'm in there for. I don't give a shit about fluff. I mean, I had fluff. I showed you guys a fucking rare mountain this game that you had to have like X amount of achievements to get, and was like, okay, cool, I got it. I didn't care. I mean, it was cool, but like half the time people are like, oh, dude, you got that mountain. I'm like, yeah, it's all right. And they're like, dude, I was like, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's whatever. I didn't care. Didn't give a shit. It's like, it was cool when I got it. I wasn't trying to get it. We were just doing a raid, and we got all the requirements, and we all got it. And I was like, oh my God, we just did that. I can't believe it. You know? There was no space for it. Granted, you could do ships to land sieges with siege cannons on ships and catapults and whatnot. But again, zero space for any of it. There was building lots for people to building homes and stuff. A walled-off town would provide the Lord with gold income, and defending it meant this to be the big deal. Oh, shit. Yeah. So it's cutting its own throat is what it was doing because of the places, like how much structure space you had. But again, no one did it because not good. Last I saw, Space for Land was auctioned off at mass. Oh, my God. Shit. No, I love Tryon. The games, they come out with good games. They just don't work on those little things. And if you don't, it'll be it's not the big things. You can't keep pushing out content and not fix what's broken from a company. You can't. You cannot do that. You cannot afford to do that. If you do that, you're pouring money into a dying product. But if your product's making money, right, then that's when you come out with new stuff. It's like, okay, we've got it under control. Where does most of your money need to be going? Retention, retention, retention. Not obtaining, retention. Retain the customers you have, and then add to that. And then that's when you put on new content. That's when you put new content in. It's like new content's good. Players want new content, but they want shit to work. And Tryon is now addressing some of the balance issues, I guess, in Rift. I just don't know if it can make its thing. Linear is so, to me, is whatever, is a linear system. Like when they added this playable feature for this, I really liked it. To sell lots, you build massive mansion, said manor, or even sell the mansion. Yeah, that's sad. That's so sad. So sad. Usually this goes down too. I don't even think I can get into this. I can try. I don't think my characters are ported. So you're not authorized to play. You have to pay for it. It's a pay feature. It's a pay feature. But if you pay for this, you do have access to the other one. And I don't think characters are copied. They can be over like your originals. I believe they do have that option. Just not to beneficial to build a town. You had to have hundreds of people help build the walls alone. That excludes the homes, crops, and cattle. Right. It'll kill you, man. Certain things. I believe Defiance is also on Xbox. I want to say it is. Let me see. Yep. Tryon Worlds. Xbox. PS4, and I know it was on Xbox. Wasn't sure if it was on yet for PS4. And they said it needs a little work done to it. I have to check that out. We might check that out one day. See what's going on. Arcade is a wonderful idea. Terrible end results as they forgot how players work. Right? If they would have scaled it down, maybe that would have been, a lot better results. So, I mean, once again, I think this is where ZOS doesn't have a lot of threats as far as what's available. Not necessarily what's not available, but the quality of availability. Let's say it in that aspect. Quality of your product is very important in the industry. The MMO market isn't drying up. It's just being condensed. Players are still playing MMOs. The problem of it is they want quality. They want to pay for quality. Sure, there's a lot of free MMOs out there. Nobody's debating that. But where do players go? With the product that has the best quality. That's what they want. You can have all the flashy graphics and all the bells and whistles all you want. But if it lacks substance, players will not stay. And what do? They go to the companies that are pulling the players in. Why? Because they got quality. At the end of the day, it comes back down to that. And Tryon's a great company, but they need, once again, prioritization is key. It's key. Rift is a great game. The instant adventures are great. There are so many different things. PvP in this game, in Warfront's awesome, but it's so linear. If your gear gaps are so big, if you're new and you're trying to get into Battlegrounds or what they call Warfronts, you will get annihilated. You have to close those margins. You need to balance the equation. You need to close it. It's crucial. Very crucial. It's Crucia's Claw. Cotton was a big one, required for a few pieces, but it was needed. You could sail a galleon from one side of the world to the other to trade goods and make bank. That brought pirates as the open seas, open PvP. Yeah, definitely. There's like I said, Trion's a great game. I love this game. I played Rift for longer than I played World of Warcraft. Graphically superior. Lore, really interesting lore. A couple of things kept, between the Defiance and the Guardians, which was really, it was a good game overall. There was a lot of cool things they did, like being able to port other alliances into the opposite alliance for balance, because there was more Guardians than Defiance, and I didn't care about that. I was actually cool with it. That's one thing another thing I don't like about faction games, because sometimes there's uneven numbers. The further you traveled, the more the pack would go. The ships last, I was a skiff for single player stuff. Max cargo pack capacity was 2 to 4. Galleons was 4 to 8. Trade ships were up to 20. Yeah, that's back-ass words. Galleons should have quite a little bit more, I would think. Trade ships have 20, and your galleon has 8. Yeah, that makes no fucking sense. That makes no fucking sense. None. That's what? You're just putting people on a trade ship. What the whatever. Oh my. Oh my, oh my. Oh my, oh my. All right, but yeah, so pretty much great company. Rift's a good game. Rift Prime takes you back. The only thing about it is balance, and I guess they are starting to address this issue. It's been an issue for years. After after HK, it was even more so. When they started expanding past HK, it was way more noticeable, and pet classes never could keep up. That was one of our other bitches, was like, get pet classes in line. Get them in line. And then they turned Beastmaster from a DPS to a support role for Warrior. It's like, okay. Warrior went through the most changes. But, there you guys have it. Pretty much said and done. I wanted to play more, but everybody's down for maintenance. Sucks. Fishing boats was also a thing. Pirates left them alone due to fishing not being as good as trading. Oh, yeah, I imagine. Trading, you fucking loot the shit out of that. Why would you put 20 people on it? You need more defenses around a trade. Oh, my God. Crazy. All right, man. I'm going to let you guys go, but, if you want to check out Rift, Rift Prime cost. Rift is free to download and to try. It is a pretty good game. Servers will fluctuate, but you can jump servers. So that's kind of a nice thing about Rift. You're not stuck in one server. You can jump servers. So, yeah, kind of nice. Let me check this out. So fishing was the safest thing to do. And people use fishing boats to pack to smuggle goods past pirates. And pirates never cared about fishing boats. That was a smart tactic. I'll give you that. It was a smart tactic. All right, guys. Once again, I'll be on tomorrow, if not today, later. But yeah, any questions, any comments, please post below. Once again, I'm Mr. Raven. This is Mystic MMOs, and as always, so fast skiffs, trade ships, fishing boats. What would you do? Yeah, I would probably fish. Stick to the fishing. All right, guys. Have a nice day.